How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. This is the Browey C600 614.4 watt-hour power station. Why they added that 0.4, I don't know. They could have said 615 watt-hours and it would have been fine. Now you'll notice it has a solar panel. I love solar panels because they charge your power bank, but the solar panel here is a 30-watt solar panel, so it's going to take 20 hours or more in order to charge this from 0 to 100%. That's around 3 days of full sun sitting this thing outside. That's probably a bit unrealistic unless you're out in the middle of nowhere and no one's gonna steal your power station when you just leave it around like this. In 2022, they won the IF award. They have a lot of product submissions and that numbers in the 11,000. And less than 2,000 won this IF award. So it's about 18% chance of winning. I think they won because this is not something that's usually done. It's usually just a power station, and the solar panel is something that's external. You put somewhere else and then you plug this in. So there, that is the ingenuity, that's the design where you integrate this hard solar panel right into this power station. I do have a little thing to nitpick though, because you have the stand back here and you should have been able to adjust the angle of this thing, but it only goes at one angle, and this is going to reduce your efficiency. Sometimes the sun is going in like this, or sometimes it's coming in right from above. It looks like it's at 45 degrees right now. One thing that comes to mind, of course, is the price good on this thing? I did a search on Amazon for 600 watt-hour power stations, and here's what I got. For the prices, I just take the current street price. What you see on the market might fluctuate a little bit after I make this video. And then I take the stated watt-hours of the power station. Is there solar on this thing? This is the only product that has solar built in. So this product is gonna be a little bit more expensive per watt-hour because it has an integrated solar panel. So this one, with the solar panel, it's gonna cost 73 cents per watt hour. If you assume the solar panel is like 50 bucks, then it's gonna be a 64 cent per watt hour. You got some other power stations. Tenergy T600 comes in at 57 cents. Ham Swan comes in at 43 cents per watt hour. Yes, so you're reading this right. Tai C is 40 cents per watt hour. King Boss is 50 cents per watt hour. All Powers is 49 cents per watt hour. Lopez is 49 cents per watt hour. And EcoFlow is 57 cents per watt hour. The market rate for these things is probably around 50 cents per watt hour without a solar panel. Sometimes I've seen them to output 30% less than the full capacity stated. So you have to take the listed capacity with a grain of salt unless you see one of these videos where I actually test the capacity. It's in this briefcase shape. The back has the stand, the front have the solar panel. On the side there's a vent and a warning sticker. On the bottom there's a lot of rubber padding everywhere. Even the top has a little bit of rubber padding right here and right here. So you can bump this a little bit and not scratch it too badly. Press display to turn it on. I've charged it to 100% already. Let me remove these rubber plugs. So there are 3 little plugs here. You kind of have to massage it a little bit and it'll go back in. 65 watt USB-C out. This does not charge though, so it's not an in as well. These 2 quick charge USB 3.0s can output a total of 18 watts. The input charge port and output 12 volt ports. The car outlet is a 10 amp output, so it can do up to 120 watts. The AC port can output a total of 600 watts. 1200 peak. That means you cannot actually connect 1200 watt devices to this. It can peak for a short period of time, but during the long durations, 1 second or more, it needs to stay under 600 watts. Turn on the DC, just press it once. It's outputting 0 watt, nothing is connected. Let's push it again to turn it off. Push the AC to turn on the AC. It defaults to 110 volts, 60 hertz, 0 watt output. We can also turn on the DC at the same time. And if you push display, nothing happens. Turn this one off, turn that one off. And the display really is just to turn on the display to check your battery capacity. It comes with this accessory pouch and it has the chargers and everything in there. It doesn't actually fold out completely. It stops right here and it has a little strap for you to hold on to. You have the AC adapter and this does 120 watts. You have a car charger that you plug into the same port. This is the 12 volt DC cable. Most people won't use this, but a lot of devices actually take a 12 volt barrel connector, just like this. Example being internet routers, DC fans, or I have a portable massager that can connect to this. Strangely, it also comes with a plug adapter. So potentially you can convert this guy, the 12-volt plug, into other kinds of barrel connectors. All of these plug into this cable over here. So you just have to make sure the polarity is correct and that it accepts 12 volts. Interestingly, you can probably use this one on the AC adapter as well, but be careful, this is a 24-volt device. Additionally, to read the polarity, you look at this little symbol here, minus sign, and it points at the outer shell. Positive sign points at the middle. That means the outer is negative, the inner pin is positive. They proudly show that they won the IF Design Award 2022. The user manual, a letter so you can read this. With that said, let me test the true capacity of this power station. I've charged this to 100% overnight. We can turn on the heater here, and this thing will do 400 watts. It spikes up a little bit, but falls back down to 400. And I have a 200 watt charger here. We can plug this in. So it's topping out at 550 watts, and this power bank handles it beautifully. We can swap to the energy usage and see how much usable energy we could get out of this. In the middle of the test at 10 minutes in, I have 600 watt coming out. The fan is on now. You can kind of hear it. When the fan is on, it's about 54 dB ambient noise, kind of like talking level. I do have to raise my voice a tiny bit in order to talk over it, and it just sounds like a small box fan. We got 539 watt hours. We get a usable capacity of 87.7%. This is really good, especially when I see some bad power station have only 70% usable capacity. I'm gonna plug the AC charger in, charge it back up. The adapter is 120 watts. It's drawing 116.9 watts. And we'll charge this back up from 0 to 100% again. That took 718 kilowatt hours, or 116.8% of the capacity of the power bank. The 16.8%, it's due to the inefficiencies of the AC adapter. This is pretty typical when you charge a power bank, so you should expect about a 20% loss. From the 12-volt car adapter port, I'm able to discharge 571.7 watt hours. That's 93.1% of the stated capacity. Using the combination of this charge port and a car adapter, you'll only be able to charge at a rate of about 40 watts. Let me try this in the car. Plug that in. It could take up to 120 watts from this safely, but the circuitry inside seems to be limiting at less than 3 amps. I have a studio light over here. I can shine on it. When I put this close, it starts turning on the solar charging, but it says 8 watts. I can slowly turn the light away, and you expect the wattage to decrease, but instead it just goes from 8 to nothing. This is actually not a very strong light, and I don't expect 8 watts to go into the battery. So there's a granularity issue. I don't think it's charging at 8 watts at all. More like it initiated the circuitry, and that's about it. If I put a second studio light on it, right, it should be really bright, and it still stays at 8 watts. I have a high bay 150 watt light here. This should give off about 20,000 lumens, equivalent to light sunlight. And if I try to shine it evenly on here, okay, we get 10 watts. So it starts off at 8. Let me increase the light. The most I can put in here is 10 watts, it seems. So it looks like if you get anything, it just shows 8 watts. But if you go over 8 watts, it will start reading correctly. The internals, I removed the battery. This is the charge cable. They use this to charge it, and this one to discharge it into the AC inverter. We see it uses these cylindrical cells, and if you peel this back a little bit, 4 cells in parallel, and then they daisy chain 8 of them in series. We can just measure the voltage. It should be around 24 volts. 26. Peeling back the protection film, you can see the balance lines here. There's a positive terminal, negative terminal, and 7 leads for in between the cells. In-house BMS, it's an 8 in series 40 amp BMS. On the back snakes out 1 temperature probe, and I like how these wires are all 200 degrees C wires. The main AC output one is 10 gauge, but since the charging is quite a bit lower, maxing out at 120 watts, it's only 12 gauge over here for the charging. 4 in series, and on the back on this section, there's a piece like this that connects 8 of them for these 8 cells, and so they connect them in series. There's a pattern of spot welding. There's a main center line and 3 dots on each side. Peeking into this hole, it says IFR 32700, 32 millimeters diameter by 70 millimeters length. It also says 6,000 milliamp hour, 3.2 volts. So each of these cells is 19.2 amp hours. You have 32 of them. It adds up to be exactly 614.4 amp hours, which is what's stated on their product specification page. Showing 4 digits of precision, now it makes sense because that is exactly the capacity. They could have rounded it, I guess, to 614, I think. Lifting the lid on the BMS, if you're interested, you can probably see the model number on these high power FETs. These 2 points go out to the temperature sensor. There's one IC position that's not stuffed, and looks like there's a lot more room for more resistors along this edge here. That's probably to turn this BMS into one that's capable of more in series. And of course, you can wire additional wires here. There's 3 holes provided, but they're not using all of them. I like how it uses this XT90 connector to connect to the AC board. For the AC out, it also uses a little XT30 connectors. And throughout the device, it uses these softer silicone cables, 200 C600 volt capable. Now I gotta put this all back together. We'll see how that goes. Overall, I like how the capacity is exactly as stated. The solar panel is kind of underpowered. In a full day's charge, you're only gonna get about a third of the capacity recharged. But if you choose to get maybe a 100-watt solar panel and plug it into the DC input, there's no mention of an MPPT controller, so there's going to be a 30% loss in efficiency right there. The car charging through the charge port, it's a little bit slow. The AC charger's a little slow, coming in at around 6 hours or so. The faster ones will do it in about an hour or 2. But having a 30-watt solar panel, it's kind of like a backup. If you have no other power source, you have this built in already in case you forget to carry the external one with you. The 600-watt AC inverter really does 600 watts. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid device. You just got to know what you're getting yourself into when you buy it. You probably don't want to buy too many of these things. You just want to size them properly with whatever your needs are, be it 200 watt hour, 600 watt hour, 1000 watt hour or more. If you guys are interested in this product, check out my Amazon affiliate link down in the video description below. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.